you guys doing? Jason A. Kuhn here, giving you a Fight the Deception with Real Perception Christian News Brief for October 18th, 2013. We'll jump in it here at MrConservative.com. Obama administration says anti-Muslim hate speech can be punished. In May, one of Obama's U.S. attorneys in Tennessee said that Americans who spoke against Islam could be prosecuted. Bill Killian, U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Tennessee, said that inflammatory material against Islam might be a violation of federal civil rights laws. Such a violation could bring the federal government down on those opposing Islam here in the U.S. As reported at the Tullahoma News, Killian said the FBI's Kenneth Moore hosted a public disclosure in a diverse society to help the community learn how anti-Islam speech could land on Americans before authorities. Let's move on. RawStory.com report Schwarzenegger intends to challenge law and run for president. Actor and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger is working to change the law so he can mount a 2016 presidential run, according to a New York Post report. The newspaper quotes unnamed sources who say the actor, who's in New York City to promote his latest movie, has been talking openly about working on getting the constitutional rules changed. The source said the 66-year-old Schwarzenegger, a Republican, intends to file the necessary paperwork to challenge the rules. The U.S. Constitution forbids foreign-born citizens from holding the chief executive position, but some legal experts have said it's not completely clear that courts would enforce the law instead of letting voters decide. Constitutional amendments require two-thirds of majority approval in both the House and the Senate, and then must be ratified by at least 38 of the 50 states. The Australian-born Schwarzenegger, who became a U.S. citizen in 1983, said 3 years ago in a Tonight Show interview that he would run for president if the laws were changed. Well, I mean, it worked for Obama, and he's not a national-born citizen, so, why not Schwarzenegger? Let's see, let's move on here. FreeBacon.com. Al-Qaida-aligned groups in Syria may have access to biological pathogens. Al-Qaida-aligned militants operating in Syria could already have access to biological pathogens or weaponized agents, according to a terrorism and biological warfare expert studying the region. The possible acquisition by Al-Qaida of these highly dangerous toxins are prompted biowarfare experts to label the threat a clear and present danger. Extremist militants and other fighters tied to the terror group Al-Qaida have continued to gain foothold in key sections of Syria as the country's civil war rages on. Brought to you by Barack Obama and your U.S. paid tax dollars. Let's move on here to LouRockwell.com. Be afraid. New Homeland Security Chief okayed drone strikes on Americans. If the ambiguous voice of Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano in the Metro Walmart demanding that you say something if you see something wasn't frightening enough, if TSA's cancer rays and gropings were not outrageous enough, if Homeland Security military vehicles on U.S. soil were not disgusting enough, Obama has a real treat in store for you. His pick to lead the currently headless DHS is called Jay Johnson. He was, according to the Washington Post, the Pentagon's top lawyer. In that capacity, he and a team of Pentagon experts concluded that the president did indeed have the right to use drones to kill American citizens without charge or trial. Thanks to Johnson's determination, at least 3 American citizens have been killed without trial by their government. Now he will be in charge of the homeland. Let's move on here to Infowars.com, an article written by Paul Joseph Watson. RFID microchips to be embedded in breast implants. A manufacturer of breast implants has announced that he will begin selling its products with an RFID microchip embedded in the implant, partnering with a company whose CEO previously tried to market the implantable microchips as replacement for the credit card. Breast augmentation is one of the most popular cosmetic surgery procedures, with a staggering 300,000 women in America alone receiving breast implants every single year. We'll stay here at Infowars.com, an article written by Adam Salazar. Video. Dallas cop shoots mentally ill man who stood perfectly still. An officer with the Dallas Police Department is facing major criticism after home surveillance camera captured him opening fire on a mentally ill man without any provocation. To make matters worse, police say police may have lied in the report about what actually took place. We'll move on to RT.com. Almost 30 million people worldwide live as slaves. Nearly 30 million people across the globe live as modern-day slaves, according to a new report. Many are forced into being child brides, child soldiers, prostitutes, or laborers. India accounts for nearly half of the worldwide total. The Global Slavery Index, released by the Australian-based Walk Free Foundation, investigated 162 countries and discovered slaves in every single one. The human rights organization ranked the nations in order of prevalence of modern slavery per head of population. The index estimates that around 29.8 million people across the world have been trafficked for labor or sex work. Let's move on before I get any more tongue twisters there. Infowars.com, let's see, an article written by, actually doesn't say the article's written by, Planned Parenthood celebrates 97 years of eugenics. Overt sexualization of children. Earlier today, Planned Parenthood happily announced it has received 97 years, or it has reached 97 years of running its highly successful eugenics campaign, a campaign which has promoted and normalized birth control, sterilized Americans by the thousands, and helped cull the population by killing infants. In addition, its persuasive efforts to teach children about sex at an early age. We'll move on to a couple more articles. Who needs Planned Parenthood, to kill children when you have uneducated, brainwashed teeny boppers killing them on their own without even going to Planned Parenthood? This article brought to you by RawSewerStory.com. Teenage girls caught carrying dead fetus inside Victoria's Secret's New York City store. 2 teenage girls were caught carrying a dead fetus in a bag while being questioned for possibly shoplifting at the Victoria's Secret store in New York City. WCBS TV reported on Thursday. After being stopped by a security guard, one of the 2 17-year-old girls, identified as Tiana Rodriguez, reportedly said that the remains were the result of a miscarriage she suffered on Wednesday. Officials said the fetus had not matured past 5 or 6 months. Wow. Let's move on here to WashingtonTimes.com. Mother held in newborn's death in convent. Simone came to become nun. Sosafina Amoa came to the United States this month and joined a convent in the district with an eye toward studying to become a nun. She didn't know she was pregnant, so when she delivered a baby boy alone on the floor of a room with the Little Sisters of the Poor last week, police said the 26-year-old Samoan woman panicked and put a cloth over the infant's mouth and nose, suffocating the boy minutes after he was born. Let's move on here to Telegraph.com. Chinese couple sold baby to pay for iPhone. Wow, nice. Unemployed parents mastermind sinister conspiracy, auctioning daughter for 5,000 yen and using proceeds to buy luxury shoes and iPhone. An unemployed couple will stand trial in Shanghai for allegedly selling their baby and using the proceeds to bankroll an online shopping spree, including the purchase of an iPhone. The couple, named only as Mr. Tang and Mrs. Zhang, began posting online adverts to the child or for the child in June this year. Shanghai's Shifang Daily newspaper reported on Friday. The adverts suggested they would be willing to part with their unborn baby in exchange for up to 50,000 yen. After a home birth designed to cover up the crime, they handed over the baby girl and received a large cash payment into their bank account on the very same day. Mr. Tang and Miss Yang reportedly told prosecutors they were acting in their daughter's best interest, claiming they had hoped to place her with a financially stable family who could provide an education. Wow, we got one more article for you today. Back to RawSewerStory.com. Pennsylvania court vacates sentence of man who brutally raped 11-year-old girl because she was black. Yesterday, a Pennsylvania state appellate court vacated the 30 to 66-year sentence that had been given to Jose Carrasquillo, a man who initially pleaded guilty to raping an 11-year-old girl, but later changed his plea to not guilty at his sentencing hearing. In June of 2009, after a woman turned him down for a date because she preferred black men, Carrasquilla decided to take revenge on black people by getting high on cocaine and PCP and brutally raping the 11-year-old in every way imaginable. Her undisclosed injuries were severe enough to require multiple surgeries and prolonged hospital stay. Carrasquilla was captured in what police call a citizen's arrest when David Vargas, a Fernando Guanala, stopped him on the street, chased him down, and beat him with a 2x4 when he attempted to escape. Philadelphia rewarded them for their actions for $6,000 each. Let me give you the New World Order quote of the day by David Rockefeller. We are on the verge of a global transformation. All we need is the right major crisis, and the nations will accept the New World Order. Brought to you by David Rockefeller. And the proverb of the day, Proverbs 2:6, King James only. For the Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. That's all I got for you today. You guys can find me on Facebook at Jason A. Kuhn, also my YouTube channel, Jason A. Kuhn. You can also subscribe to my Facebook ministry page at Romans 12:2, Transformer Ministries. That's everything I got for you today. I'll leave you off with the song that I brought you in on by a disciple called Worship Conspiracy.